how you doing? It's Taylor here from Orlando City, UK, and I'm gutted this morning. Another 2-2 draw for Orlando City. We concede yet again late on, and it looked like for all the world a win after Julio Baptista put us 2-1 up against the Earthquakes in a 93rd minute. It was. Referee plays another minute. Don't know where he got that from, but Cyle Larin levels up late on, and altogether it was a sour note on an event which obviously meant so much more than football alone, with the tragic shooting in the city of Orlando last week. An absolutely fantastic display by the fans as part of Orlando United. And as the gaffer, Adrian Heath, said after the game, and how all of us fans felt, it was such a sucker punch to concede that late leveller. It's another draw at home, our 8th of the season so far. So without further ado, let's dive into the player ratings. Adrian Winter, a Swiss winger, of course. 7 out of 10 for Adrian Winter last night. To be fair, you know, it wasn't his most productive game, but this guy summed up everything that was about Orlando's performance last night. Absolutely ran his socks off. You know, obviously we're all frustrated that it ended up as a 2-2 draw, but you know, if you do look back at the game, you know, there's mistakes in there, but the guys did run their hearts out, you know, and none more so than Adrian Winter down the right-hand side. You know, obviously was imperative in the Lions opener, having swung the ball in that Hines headed in. I'm going to give Adrian Winter 7 out of 10 for his efforts. Brek Sheg, captain in the side, of course, last night in Kaka's absence. Brek Sheg, I've got to give him 6, unfortunately. Again, you know, a lot of effort. But when it really mattered, the key plays in the game, you know, a little bit of play was left to be desired on Shay's part, I'm afraid. The ball that was swung in for Chad Barrett's first goal for the Quakes, the equaliser, of course, on 1-1. Shay was jockeying his man but didn't put a foul in, allowed that cross to come in. And the same again with Cyle Larin, the second equaliser for the Quakes. Shay just didn't get the ball far away enough from the Lions' goal. You know, it was a prod out more than a real clearance, and obviously that ball ended up coming back into the Lions' penalty area, and Salinas tucked away. So, you know, the key plays in the game, Shay was at fault. For that reason, I've got to give him a 6. Kevin Alston, 6 out of 10 for me last night. We've become used, Bendik has been very consistent in his performances, so too has Kevin Alston when called upon. He obviously started up in Jacksonville in midweek during the Open Cup game against the Armada and was very, very good yet again. But I mark him down to a 6 for last night's performance. He ran his socks off, but he was sleeping on that Chad Barrett equaliser, the initial equaliser for the Quakes, which made it 1-1. 6 out of 10 for me, Kevin Alston. Tommy Redding, if I give Kevin Alston a 6, it's probably the same mark for Tommy Redding. 6 out of 10 again. In all honesty, Orlando City probably shaded the first half. Redding got his defensive work done quite solidly, quite well. But again, you know, Chad Barrett's equalising goal that made it 1-1. Redding lost his positioning, totally lost track of where Barrett was, and ultimately that was the goal that obviously made San Jose believe not clinical goal scorers on the road. They managed to get 2 last night. That's the first time in a while. And for me, you know, for the second half performance, I got to mark Redding down, unfortunately, 6 out of 10. Kevin Molino, the same as Winter. I'm going to give Kevin Molino 7 out of 10. This guy's got such high standards, you know. I think after Kaka and Cyle Larin, you know, he's arguably the Lions' 3rd most important player. Molino, bit of a mixed bag last night. You know, he tried all he could, even late on, approaching stoppage time. You know, was weaving in and out of the Quakes defenders as we've come to expect in his play. But a frustrating game for Molino. Really didn't all come off for him. Luke Boden swung a fantastic ball into him first half. Obviously not the tallest guy in the world, but he would have wanted to connect better than he did. So straight 7s for me for Kevin Molino. Cyle Larin, 6 out of 10. Probably the lowest we've marked Kyle so far this season. Maybe Sporting Kansas City away, but Kyle just couldn't get in the game last night. You know, obviously we don't need telling you guys that what you need to know about Cyle Larin. You know, he's a fantastic goal scorer, so important to this Lions team. But he really struggled to get in the game last night, whether it's down to a lack of service or whether he was dropping off deep enough to collect the ball. But just seemed a strangely subdued game by Larin last night, and for that reason I give him 6 out of 10. Seb Hines, Headmaster Hines, as the boys on commentary said last night, Jeff Ratcliffe and Tom Trexler. Brilliant nickname, by the way. I'm going to give Seb Hines 7 out of 10 last night, mark higher than Kevin Alston and Tommy Redding. Obviously, Hines was part of the defence that has again, frustratingly conceded late on. Nobody needs telling us Orlando fans, that the defence just hasn't been up to it so far this season. But I'm going to give Hines a 7, purely due to the fact that he was always a threat to the Quakes goal. He from headers. He obviously opened the scoring in the second half off a brilliant corner by the Lions. Hines leaping high up above everyone to open the score, and a fantastic goal which got us moving. So for that reason, I give Seb Hines a 7 out of 10. Christian Higuita, 7 out of 10. Christian Higuita, we know what he's all about. All action, box-to-box kind of midfielder. Putting his tackles in time and time again last night, yet again. I thought it was a good display on the whole by Higuita. He picked up his customary yellow in the second half, as we come to expect now, game in, game out. His 6th yellow of the season. Obviously, he's been suspended already, but I thought he trod the line very carefully after that. Obviously, we've seen Higuita dismissed already this season during the 90 minutes, so I thought he trod that line very, very well after getting booked. 7 out of 10. Servando Carrasco, getting another start last night. I'm going to give Servando 6 out of 10. With this guy, he tries a lot, but ultimately there's still a lot of mistimed fouls in there. Obviously, Cyle Larin is his late equaliser. Carrasco just couldn't get the tackle in. Might sound harsh, but he just couldn't get his tackle in when we needed him. Not his best display again in the engine room. I'm going to give Carrasco 6 out of 10. Luke Boden starting the game again last night. 2 obviously consecutive starts on the bounce, having started in Jacksonville midweek. I give Luke 7 out of 10. Obviously, we all know about Luke Boden's left foot. Dead ball specialist, he's an absolute wand of a left boot, creates chances for Orlando all of the time. He swung in a fantastic corner that Kevin Molino just quite couldn't connect with correctly in the first half. He was always a threat, if his ball's coming in. Obviously was subbed off for Julio Baptista in the second half as we seek the impetus in the game. But first half it was solid, typical Luke Boden. I'm going to give Bods 7 out of 10. Joe Bendik, I'm going to give Joe 8 out of 10 for last night's performance. We've become used to Bendik putting in some fantastic displays so far this season. Obviously the defence has not always given him the most respite. But Joe has been there. He was there again, made a lot of smart stops last night. Couldn't do anything about the 2 Earthquakes goals really, but made the stops, kept us in the game as much as he could. I'm going to give Joe 8 out of 10. So on to the substitutes, and first up, Julio Baptista, 7 out of 10. I mean, he totally got me out of my seat. Don't know about you guys, you must have been going absolutely berserk like I was when Baptista, for the world, we all thought it was a winner on 93 minutes. An absolutely world-class volley. Used all his strength and power as he swiveled on the ball and absolutely blasted it past David Bingham in the Quakes goal. A cracking goal. You would have never thought San Jose could get back up the pitch with the time remaining. But Baptista's come on now. Obviously, in the last MLS game, he scored against New York City. He scored again 2 in 2 games, of course. And he's starting to affect the play now. It's been a bit of a slow burn on Baptista's part, but we're now starting to see the best of him on the in the minutes that he's on the field, and a fantastic goal. 7 out of 10, Julio Baptista. Antonio Nocerino, you had one job, man. You had one job. 5 out of 10. Nocerino is just, it's not working out for him in Orlando. I mean, he came on with Orlando in the lead. Came on to shore the play up, to get on the ball, to calm ourselves down, just a calming influence in midfield. That's what we was after at the time in the game, but none of it came to the fore. A lot of people were asking for Harrison Heath, obviously the coach's son, to come on. Has played well up at New York City and Jacksonville, back on the bench tonight. But Nocerino, not good enough. It's 5 out of 10. Finally, Carlos Rivas obviously came on very, very late on. Didn't have enough time to affect the play, but in the few minutes he was on, we saw that explosive power from him down the left-hand side. So Carlos Rivas, straight 5.